Hello and welcome to another I Draw You Watch, where I draw on the internet on a weekly basis to make my comics. This is just the worst introduction ever. I should have something written down. The sounds of very drunk. I haven't had anything. I've had a tea. I've still got the tea here. It's kind of lukewarm now. Yeah, so basically I didn't do one last week because I had these wonderful I Draw You Watch. I draw a comic for my internet page and then I talk over the top of it once a week on YouTube. So yeah, last week didn't do one because I was going to do some videos for E3 because I watched the press conferences and I was going to do an intermittent nonsense like the professional one, like the Watch Dogs one, for an intermittent nonsense, like a professional one for each conference, starting with Microsoft's. And in Microsoft's press conference, they showed a trailer for The Division, and I put that trailer into the intermittent nonsense, and Ubisoft blocked my video. So, having already edited together Ubisoft and EA's, and partway through doing Sony's, I'd obviously spent most of the week doing that to try and give you loads of videos last week of that sort of thing. So I left the I Draw You Watch out because I figured you'd be plenty happy with what I did put together. But then obviously it all went fucked. So I'm going to talk about E3 this week as well as a few other things. First off, I want to talk about the comic. As you may notice, I am drawing this comic in Manga Studio. Now, Manga Studio is fucking excellent. It's like a really good tool for drawing, just plain old drawing. However, the text is god awful. I can't work like the color. Doing the colors and the color wheel is just a pain. And there's a lot of other intricacies that I've learned over 3 years of using Photoshop that I've got down to a quick T. And while I'm still teaching myself on Manga Studio, it would be detrimental to me to spend hours and hours every time I do a strip. It's one of those things that I need to learn when I've got plenty of free time. I've got the hiccups for some reason. When I've got plenty of free time and I can sit down and work it out, just basically sketching and colouring and doing stuff like that. Whereas in Photoshop, I know bang, bang, bang. I know exactly how I do any effect that I want, etc. So what I do at the moment, so that I can get the fantastic line work that you can get from Manga Studio, but all the other benefits of Photoshop, is I start my panel, I write out the script for it, and then I transfer the whole document, or I save the whole document as a Photoshop file, and then I open it in Manga Studio and it keeps it open as a Photoshop file. Exactly as was, with all the text and everything. So then I can draw it, and then I save it again as a Photoshop file, and then go back into Photoshop and colour it. It sounds like a rigmarole, but the operation doesn't take 2 seconds to open, so it's just like I'm closing a window and opening a new window. It's not like my old laptop, where it took like fucking 20 minutes for Photoshop to boot up. This one's like that. Click my fingers in. No idea why I did that. You can't see. Ridiculous. So yeah, this is why I'm drawing it in Manga Studio. And it's just brilliant. It's just excellent. I pencil it with a paintbrush and I ink it with the pen tool with, you can see there I've got a brush size of 30 and the opacity at 100 with the slight fade and the pressure sensitivity and stuff. And it just looks fucking awesome. You'll notice the difference when the ones that are drawn in Manga Studio. I've got 2 more I Draw You Watches I've already recorded, which are a full Photoshop job. But this one's the old backwards and forwards. So, and this is the comic I did specifically for the E3 day, when I would have seen all of the press conferences, and I had my massive blog underneath. So, without further ado, look at those lines. It automatically smooths out the gradients a little bit more than Photoshop does. It really does look fucking delicious. So yeah, without further ado, we went to we'll go to E3. Let's go to E3 because it's over now. So we'll just be in LA, and no one wants to go there apparently. Phil Spencer came out. Like there was a comic. I don't know if you read Control Alt Delete. I don't anymore because it's got a bit weird. But I used to read it on and off, and he does some. Chris Buckley, is it, or James Buckley? No, James Buckley is a singer. It's Chris Buckley. He does some really good gaming comics, but by all accounts, and I don't know the guy, but by all accounts, he's a bit of a dick. I've never met him, so I'm not going to pass comment. All I will say is his comment went a bit weird. But where he does gaming comics, specifically gaming related, he does tend to hit the note quite well sometimes. I know his style is copying many other styles, and I know that some jokes he's done are, you know, little turnarounds of penny arcade jokes and other comic strips, but he has done some funny jokes. And he did a joke about E3. I'm fucking going around the houses on this one. He did a joke about E3 where it was basically an interview with Phil Spencer, and the person who interviewed said, "So what can we expect from your E3 conference?" And then Phil Spencer took the microphone off and went, "Games," and then dropped the mic like a pipe bomb, like you see in wrestling and whatnot. Sort of thing CM Punk did a lot a couple of years ago. Well, up to last year. So, I don't know whether or not Phil Spencer did see that comic, because that's pretty much exactly what he did. He came out and he said, "We've got a 90-minute press conference. All we're going to talk about is games." And then people clapped for fucking ever, which was ridiculous, because that's all you should be talking about, because your console, you don't want to be highlighting any of the things with your console. Yeah, it's sold well, but it's way behind Sony. And also you removed the thing that you said you was going to keep. Anyway. So I started off with COD. It was really easy to get excited about the Microsoft press conference. I watched the entire thing from front to back, from beginning to end. And this is the first time I saw a lot of these games, because I don't tend to watch trailers. I don't tend to look at the news before E3 because I want to watch E3 and get excited about it. So it's the first time I'm seeing loads of these things. I see COD, and you see, you know, all the stuff that comes after, and you get to the end, you go, "Wow, that was fantastic." And then it dawns on you that you probably only saw 2 exclusives in that lot, and all of the stuff that you saw that was really exciting, that you thought, "Oh, Microsoft are on their comeback," it was all stuff that you can also get on the PS4 or the PC, or, you know, whatever your gaming device is next generation. So it's only when you can sort of take a breath and go, "Oh, wait a minute, there's only a couple of exclusives," but what exclusives they were, eh? So it started off with COD. And it looks like another COD. Now, when I saw the trailer for Advanced Warfare with I've forgotten his name, Kevin Spacey, I was super excited. Kevin Spacey is the fucking shit. He is the shit. Guys, so say he's excellent. So I just having him in it is going to bring a hell of a lot to it, and I think it's going to be pretty Spacey heavy. I mean, why would you have Kevin Spacey if you're only going to have him in like 2 scenes? You're not, are you? You're going to fucking put him front and centre. So I'm looking forward to COD. I like COD as a single player game. I like the multiplayer on the first 2 Modern Warfares. I've never liked any of the Treyarch ones. They've generally been poop, and the story's been poop. I don't like the advanced thing. I'm not for Future Warfare. I think Graw gets it about right with their Future Warfare aspect, with their drones and their, you know, highlighting and whatnot. But I didn't like the look of Black Ops 2 with its fucking walk-in tanks, and yeah, I've done the comics. You've seen the comics. So I'm not overly crazy about the advanced part of this Advanced Warfare, but having said that, I am quite confident that this one will be quite good, especially the single player with Kevin Spacey all over it. I'll give the multiplayer a go like I usually do, but it usually only lasts about a couple of weeks, probably at most a month, until the community find a way to break it. Like a couple of years ago, it was the double shotguns. Um, Before that, there was you know what it is. They get experience and then they learn how to play the game. That's not really playing the game. You know what I mean? I like taking my time. I like finding positions. I like sniping. I like that's the way I play games all the time. So when I go into a multiplayer game, if I can be a sniper and I can get rid of my I can hide myself on the radar and I can get big old ghillie suit and I can hide in some long grass and shoot people. I will happily sit for a 15-minute game, get 8 kills and no deaths. Whereas other people like running around and get 32 kills and 38 deaths, and they think. But the thing is, the points will reward them more. They've died twice more, 6 times more than they've killed. But because they've got 32, they get 320 points. Whereas I get 8 kills, I get 80 points. It's fucking balmy, but that's COD. I'm still waiting for the game where it actually rewards you for your kill to death ratio, but it's never going to happen, I don't think, because there's too many knobheads on the internet that play it the other way around. Forza came next. Cars, no one gives a shit. No one at all. I mean, you might do, but I don't. So it's cars. You drive around, track and on roads and stuff. Whatever. Then we saw the Evolve trailer, and that made me quite excited. I've seen the Evolve thing and I was thinking, it's made by Left 4 Dead people and I love Left 4 Dead. I love Left 4 Dead. But 4 on 1, I don't know, when you're playing as the one, it's kind of lonely. But then if you've got 4 mates, which I have, we can have a closed game where we don't have to have any knobheads in there. We can have like 3 of my mates on my side and one of my mates we're against, and then we keep swapping around. So that would be quite good. But then I saw the trailer and I was just like, man, this looks the shit, because those monsters look fucking horrible. It's kind of got like a little MOBA aspect. I know what a MOBA is. It's the game where there's 5 people on one team, 5 people on the other team, and then you have to try and take over someone's base, and you're a little character. But I don't actually know what MOBA stands for. I remember looking it up once. It's like mass online. I'm going to say battle arena. Massively online battle arena, multiplayer online battle arena. Something a lot like that. It's kind of got that feel to it because the Evolve monster can release little little spawn things that can disrupt the players while they're. It's like basically if you take the Left 4 Dead analogy, you're the tank, but you can also create normal zombies to get your fucking annoying little humans while you come in and pound the shit out of them. And they've got special attacks and whatnot. It does look fucking excellent. The next thing they showed was the Assassin's Creed Unity, which I had not seen anything about, and I have not been interested in Assassin's Creed since about 5% into Assassin's Creed 3. Yeah, I was walking through, I think I went to a fort in the snow, and I did it about 9 times, and I kept getting seen. It was one of those missions where I couldn't be seen, and I gave up. I went, I'm not doing this anymore, this is shit, I can't be bothered. I don't care about fucking the early settlements in Native America. This has no interest in me whatsoever. So I didn't bother playing Black Flag, because it was just like pirate. I'm not interested in pirates. I didn't play that at all, despite people saying, it's fun with the pirate ships and whatnot. So I say what? Not a lot now. Weird. So despite all that, I didn't play it. But then seeing this one, it took me back to what I enjoyed about the original Assassin's Creed 4 games, if you like, the 3 Italian ones especially. And it just looked amazing. It looked fucking brilliant. And I think the French Revolution, despite it being in France, and I'm not a massive fan of the French. I've got nothing against them, to be honest, but I just don't like the French. I don't like France. I've been to France like 3 times. It's been weird. I've got these hiccups and I can't get rid of them. I'm sorry. So, but the French Revolution just fits. It just fits. You got the whole subplot of the French Revolution around plus the multiplayer. When they showed 4-player co-op Assassin's Creed, I went, yes, please, yes, very much, please. Can you imagine doing a proper mission where you've got to get into some fucking chateau that's completely guarded, and there's 4 of you, and you can do all sorts of. It's just going to be the shit. It is going to be the shit. Ubisoft are getting it right recently, and it is very, very exciting. I'm very excited about that. Then I saw some Dragon Age, and that was when I got. That's when I got a shiver down my spine when I saw that the first time I saw the whole thing. It just looks good. It just looks good. I saw some gameplay and it looked a bit ropey, but then I saw another piece of gameplay which was like free moving through a bit of forest area. Oh, it looks so good, so very good. Like that's next gen graphics. It just looked brilliant. Then they showed Sunset Overdrive, which was their first exclusive, apart from Forza, but no one cares about that. I don't know. It's kind of like Lollipop Chainsaw, in that it's like a jokey zombie thing, in a kind of Dead Rising 2 way, Lollipop Chainsaw way. It's a little bit Team Fortress with the jokey funniness, and it looks like it plays like Bethesda's Wet or Tony Hawk's, where you've got like an arena and you've got to do a kill and you get bonuses for stringing shit together while you're doing the kills, and there's probably funny ways to kill zombies, and I don't know, it just don't look. I don't think I like it at all. It's not that sort of, it's not. I don't give a shit. They showed some Dead Rising arcade thing where you can do a 4-player, like arcade walkthrough, beating the crap out of things while you're all dressed up weirdly. But that has nothing. I mean, that's got no interest to me. Then they saw Fable Legends, which looks like the original Fable, which was on the Xbox One, not the Xbox One. Well, the original Xbox. Which that's the problem with calling your fucking third console the one, you dick. The first Xbox Fable was on, and it doesn't look significantly better, graphic wise. So it's hard to get excited about it. But I have played all of the other Fables all the way through. It's just like one of those niche things where I kind of get into it once I start playing it, and then I have to see it through. So I don't know, it's multiplayer as well, but then the last one was multiplayer and it was just like some kind of mercenary drop-in thing, which was shit. But we'll see. I don't know. I can't really say anything about it from what they showed. It doesn't look that interesting. Don't know. They showed some Project Spark stuff, which is just Little Big Planet. Then we saw a load of indie crap, and then fucking Halo. This was where they got the biggest cheer of the night. They announced that Halo 2 would release with the multiplayer exactly the same as it ever was. No changes. And everyone cheered the shit out of it. Because they're getting a game that they've already had. My brain melted at that point because I didn't understand. I don't understand why people are clapping for something they've already had. It's just nuts. It's just ridiculous. It's the most ridiculous thing I can possibly think of. It's the Ultimate Master Chief Collection, Championship Edition, Super Tiger Mode, and you've got Halo 1 or Halo Combat Evolved, whatever you want to fucking call it. It's Halo 1, Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo 4. So basically, you haven't got the two good games, Halo Reach and Halo Wars. I've gone over this 1,000 times. Those are my favourite two because they don't contain the Master Chief, essentially, and they're better games. Master Chief is a dull, boring shit character, surrounded by better, well-fleshed out characters. The Arbiter has a better story than him. Cortana is obviously a much better character, especially in 4. And then you've got if you played Combat Evolved all the way through to the end, and you did it on Legendary, there's a bit with the main sergeant guy in it at the end that I won't spoil because it's fucking, how old was that going? 20 years, 15, 10. You see the sergeant hug a fucking an Arbiter, but I don't know, man. An Elite, sorry, not an Arbiter. The Arbiter is a single person. In any case, Master Chief, boring as fuck. No one gives a shit. John 117533419, whatever his name is, don't care. So that went on for a while, and everyone was going, hey, Halo, and then I said Halo TV as well. And we went all games, and he went, oh yeah, I won't talk about that anymore. I was hoping for some Gears of War and Alan Wake and Left 4 Dead. That's what I was hoping for from Microsoft, because those are the games that only came out on the 360 that I'm expecting to stay exclusive in this generation that I give a shit about. Okay, Gears of War has always been fun, always. Gears of War 3 was probably Gears of War 3 was probably the most fun that I've had because me and Jodie played through the whole campaign. she got to play as female gears like Anya and I've forgotten her name again, Sam. And then the horde mode we did together through to 50th level. And Halo Judgment Day didn't quite have the same thing, but we still had a lot of fun playing it. So yeah, Gears is one of those things where me and my wife can play together, especially like because it's one of those things that's always been a co-op experience. And so I'm excited to see what they've got, because I know they've obviously got something coming, because it's fucking Gears of War, but nothing announced. Alan Wake was just one of the best games of the last generation. Nothing. And Left 4 Dead, obviously, me and Jodie, massive fans, Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2. Now we only have Left 4 Dead 2, and we've downloaded all of the Left 4 Dead 1 maps on Left 4 Dead 2 with all the monsters. So our Left 4 Dead 1 disc is, I'll give it away as a competition. The best way to advertise my channel or website with, post me it, link with mail, email, Twitter, Facebook, comment, the best, you come up with a way to advertise. In fact, you do advertise, and the best one, I'll give a copy of Left 4 Dead 1 collector's edition on the Xbox 360. Can't say, look, what can I say? This is the only place you'll find people giving away 6-year-old games. So yeah, but there was nothing again on Left 4 Dead. So who knows? There's apparently Left 4 Dead 3 is in the works, but what can we believe out of Valve? Half-Life Episode 3, for example. There was some more indie games. Then we saw a fucking little snippet teaser for a new Tomb Raider, and they're continuing with the origin story, which is fucking excellent, because that's what that's Tomb Raider that came out last year was a lot of fun, and the introduction of Lara to becoming Tomb Raider was brilliant. It was a brilliant game. So to continue that in how she evolved into the super archaeologist that she is good. Plus it stops her from being this ridiculous fucking person in turquoise leotard that was just nonsense. Then they showed The Witcher 3. I mean, this is why Microsoft was such a good, because you're seeing all of these games. Now I know a lot of these are coming out on all consoles, but you're seeing all of these in this conference. Yeah, Witcher 3, which looks fucking excellent. If this comes out around the same time as Dragon Age Inquisition, I am fucked for time. Like, I'm going to be we're going to do it today. You should probably draw a comic because you've got one tomorrow and you haven't got any, I'm going to have to write about 9 months ahead. I'm just going to have strips about things that were 9 months old coming out in March, because I've had to write so far ahead so that I could play fucking Dragon Age and The Witcher 3. Because they're apparently massive games. Did you see some of the trailers for The Witcher 3? The vista was fucking huge. It was mental. So yeah, that could be a massive time sink, but it does look fucking excellent. It's another one of those games that looks next gen. The voice acting was a bit naff, not for The Witcher, but like in the bit that they showed, the gameplay segment, they showed a woman that he met who, was in a hut or something, and she came out and it was just naff. Oh, okay then, bye bye. It was fully naff. And then the Killer Instinct guy came out and said he's bringing something else back, and no one gave a shit. Then they showed The Division, and man, it looks so good. Everyone was a bit worried that this wasn't coming out because they hadn't known anything about it since last year, and I know it's still not coming out for another fucking year. But it just looks good. It looks good. It looks so good, and it's really, really intriguing at how it's going to play out as a massively co-op game. I just need to make sure that I've got some friends that want to get online and play it as much as I do, because that is going to be half the problem, I think, now that we're all married and have other shit going on. And then just as you finish, and just as everything was winding down, Lee says, I'll leave you with one more game, and he walks off. And then fucking, as soon as I saw the fucking little double helicopter thing go over the skyline. I saw the massive tower in the middle, and it was cell shaded. I went, holy fuck, Crackdown. And it was holy fuck, Crackdown. And it's 4-player co-op now, not just 2-player. And oh my god, it's Crackdown and Crackdown 2 are fantastic games. They're like you're ridiculous superhumans. You run around a massive city and you just can cause as much damage as you want, and no one gives a fuck. And they were just so much fun. But when you boiled them down, they were super fun. And collecting the agility orbs, collecting the driving orbs. I remember me and Darren playing Crackdown 2 for days trying to collect some of the driving orbs, because you have to do certain things in a car and you're meant to do them over a ramp. But we would do it in so much as someone would sit in a car while the other one threw them through the rings, the car and all. That's the sort of game we're talking about. If you haven't played Crackdown 1 and 2, I don't know what to tell you. You're missing out. If you're just a PS3 person, you are missing out. You're like missing out on Crackdown and Left 4 Dead and Alan Wake and Gears of War is the same as the 360 fanboys who missed out on Heavy Rain, Uncharted, and The Last of Us. I mean, those 7 games I've just mentioned are so good. I can't even fathom having missed out on one of them. And if you're a single console person, you must know someone who's got the other console. Swap consoles for a couple of weeks with those games, and you will not regret it. I know you might want to fight your corner because that's your corner or whatever, but please just trust me. You're missing out, and you're doing yourself a disservice for if you're going to miss out on it. How long have I got left? I'm okay. I've just started colouring. As you can see, obviously this is the Photoshop format I've gone back into to do the colouring, just like I said. This was a cracking joke. The clue to this one was picking something rude but not too rude for the thing that because in Watch Dogs, if you don't know, if you highlight a person while looking at with your phone out, you can find out a snippet of information about them. It's something like is an atheist, or interior decorator, or it can be anything. Diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. It can be literally anything. So I needed something that was rude and funny, but not too rude. That it would be like just crude and sort of silly. So using, instead of saying like any rude body part, just say bum. Bum is a funny word whenever you say something like that. So putting fruit in his bum is just, it's funny. If you haven't seen the comic, what are you doing? Click on the link, read the comic, then watch me draw it. You nutcases. Right, so that was Microsoft. Super exciting, massive thing. But like I say, take a deep breath. What have they got? Crackdown. That's all I give a shit about. Everything else comes out on all the consoles. Don't care about Sunset Overdrive. Don't care about Forza. Don't care about the Halo fucking nonsense. Halo 5 we knew was coming, but they didn't show much about that anyway. Okay, the next one that came out was EA, and massively excited about EA because you're thinking maybe they'll show something about Mass Effect. You've already seen some Dragon Age stuff now, so when they show the Dragon Age stuff, you're like, nah, not really bothered. They showed a behind-the-scenes thing about Star Wars Battlefront, not really bothered about that. They showed another behind-the-scenes thing about Mass Effect, not really bothered about that. They also showed a behind-the-scenes thing about Mirror's Edge 2, about how they created Faith, the main character. That would have been interesting, like 4 years ago when the first Mirror's Edge came out. Not now. Who gives a shit now? So there was a lot of that. And then they talked about The Sims for fucking ages. The Sims. This is a dickhead and he's a douche, and oh look, I've killed him, and then she laughed. She said she killed him and then she laughed. So it just seemed like a mess. Then I saw this Bruce Lee film footage come up, and I said I know this because it's my favourite quote ever, and it's a philosophical quote that Bruce Lee says, where he says Water is formless, shapeless. You put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put water into a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now, water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend. And what he means is, you can water can adapt to its situation. So in fighting, you can adapt to your opponent, etc. The situation you're in. I've used that a long time to try and adapt myself to the situation so that I don't get as stressed as I used to do. I used to get massively stressed over the silliest things, and I try to use that as a kind of way to go through just the challenges I face in life. And it's one of those great things. So I saw this and I got really excited, and then they showed UFC and I got no excitement for UFC whatsoever. I knew that EA would be massively about sports because that's what they do. EA Sports, it's in a game. But I was also excited about everything else they do, like Mass Effect and that, but they didn't show any of that. It was just lots and lots of sports. We know what sport's going to be. The next year on, it's going to have the new rosters and it's going to be slightly better graphics and there's probably going to be a couple of tweaks. But it's essentially the game from last year. There are people that are fans of these games and they buy them every year. That's fine. That's their bag. We don't need to see it at a press conference. We don't. Because the half of the fucking reviews are probably already written for these games. Seriously. Because they know what they're going to say. They've taken golf off Tiger Woods though. The next one's just called EA Golf, which is weird. Not to hear it be called Tiger Woods. It's like having American football without Madden. It's a bit strange. But... yeah, so so how have we changed it? It looks normal. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Ian Poulter seems to be chipping a ball over a battleship that's crashing through the course, and the ball's on fire. What? That's mental. So this could be mental golf. I have no idea what's going to come from this golf because they didn't show much else. It was Battlefield Golf. I don't know. It's it looked fucking crazy. They're doing their own MOBA because of Dota 2 and the other one that I haven't played. I'm not a big MOBA fan. I played Dota 2 for a while and I kind of saw the attraction but didn't really get into it, and then I got bored. So, but they're doing their own one because everyone's loving MOBAs at the moment, so they're doing that. And then they showed Battlefield Hardline, which is basically GTA but Battlefield. It's cops and robbers but in the Battlefield set. Basically it looks like Battlefield but it's set in a city, and instead of being dressed up as soldiers, you're dressed up as cops or robbers. And Chris got into the beta, the early closed beta. So did Phil, and Chris, I haven't heard from Phil, but Chris said it was pretty rubbish. And he loves Battlefield. He's played a lot of the Battlefield online. He's got Battlefield 4 and he plays that and likes that. Battlefield 3 he really loved. There was me and Chris did a funny skit on my old channel about Battlefield having only 2 multiplayer modes. Regardless, Chris loves Battlefield. He didn't really like this, so maybe he's got into it now. But that was what he told me after playing it for a few days. He said no, not great. Yeah, it just looks like. Oh, and one of the geezers said "bro" in the trailer, so it could be a bit Army of Two-ish as well, which is never good. Never good. So that was. Yeah, that was EA. That was literally it. So nothing exciting there. So then I was like, man, Ubisoft need to deliver because it's late and I don't want to stay up and watch shit. So there was a little Rabbids thing telling you to turn your phone off and whatnot, and that was pretty funny. So that got me excited. And then they showed the full intro, 5 minutes for Far Cry 4, and it fucking blew my mind. It was awesome. It was fucking brilliant. I looked at it and I was like, this game is going to be fucking excellent because all I've seen is a trailer and it's excellent. That's what trailers should do. That makes me want to play the game so bad, and I've seen nothing to do with the gameplay at all. All I've seen is the intro basically. So it's all in engine and everything else. So I'm super excited about that. I played Far Cry 3, really liked it. Thought the protagonist was a dickhead. So I'm hoping the protagonist is not a crybaby girl douchebag this time, but looks good. So yeah, pretty good. And then Aisha Tyler walked out because she was emceeing the event again, and she just brings so much more to the event. Instead of having boring PR people come out, you have a well-spoken actress come out who's excited about the products, and make jokes at all the nerds that come out. There was a geezer who came out in cargo shorts, a dick. I mean, he looked like a retard. It's like fucking, at least put a pair of fucking trousers on, you beatnik. But anyway, she made the event a lot better as well. And she was making a lot of fun of people. Then they brought out Just Dance 15, and there was just loads of people dancing on stage to Lady Gaga, and it was shit. So that was long when you're tired. But then they showed the Division, gameplay style. No one fucking talks like they do in that Division playthrough, but it was still good to see more of that stuff. Then they showed The Crew, which is the driving game set across all of America, but it only takes a couple of hours to drive across the entire of America, so it's obviously not all of America. What else did they show during that? They showed more Assassin's Creed, but it was all the flashy pre-rendered stuff that you're going to see during X Factor over Christmas. You know, that kind of trailery type thing with weird music and whatnot. But it does look massively open world like Watch Dogs, which is also good. Like massively, like it's set in France, but it looks like it's set in all of France, not just Paris. It's massive compared to the cities that you've already been to. Like there was massive open spaces and whatnot in the other ones where you have to ride between cities. This one just looks like one fucking massive city. What else was there? There was some indie stuff. Oh, and then they showed Rainbow Six Siege, which looks like Payday, and also looked fully multiplayer. Like you're not going to have a single player mode. Now I don't know what's going to come, because it's obviously 2015 again. It's ridiculous how many games are coming out in 2015 that they're announcing now, but that's what's happening. So it's hard to know. It's hard to get excited because I love Rainbow Six, but I like the single player campaign, the co-op single player campaign. So the co-op campaign, if you like. Me and Jodie have played Vegas. We've played Rainbow Six Vegas 2. I love the multiplayer in those as well. Like me and my brother played the streets level on Rainbow Six fucking hundreds of times. But this just, I don't like games that are completely multiplayer, that are just multiplayer. I've got bored of Titanfall very quickly. So, I don't know, man. It's just, I hope they've got a cool single player campaign to go along with it, because Patriots looks like it's been binned now, which is a shame. But, such is. So, that was all of that. And then we had Sony's. And everyone was saying that Sony's was good, but I didn't think so. Now I was always in the PS4 camp, because a lot of my friends have got them already, so that's a big plus towards that side. And obviously, Last of Us being the big outing, the big like finale for PS3, really swung me towards PlayStation. And then obviously they said about the no DRM stuff and all of last year's E3, and it just looked like, oh, I'm going to get a PS4 when it comes out, and everything that I get is going to be PS4. But yeah, they didn't really announce anything that I give a shit about. They showed more stuff I already know, like 1886, and more stuff we've already seen, like Far Cry and that. And then at the end, obviously they had Metal Gear Solid, but we already knew that was coming. And then finally they showed Uncharted 4, which again we already knew was coming. There was nothing like to go, oh, by the way, Last of Us 2, yep, making it. Even if they just said that, yep, making it. Or if they'd have gone, you know, Alan Wake, that was only on 360, coming to PS4, Alan Wake 2. You know, anything like that made me go, oh shit, they've done it. They've broken down the barriers. But they didn't. They just went, you know those games we've already got coming out, we've already told you about? Here they are. Here's bits of them. Or not. Some of it was just a little snippet of nothing. Now, I know all of the, like I said, Microsoft, a lot of the stuff they showed also coming out on PS4. So you can get excited. You can say, PS4, we've got loads of games coming. It's fucking awesome. But exclusives, you've got Uncharted 4, Metal Gear Solid 5. They're your main two. And they're both not coming out this year. I mean, Metal Gear Solid 5 if you're lucky, but probably not. So, you know, and if you really want The Last of Us 2, Uncharted 4's got to be done and come out before that, because it's, you know, Naughty Dog have got to finish one before they start the other. or at least before they announce the other. They're not going to go Last of Us 2 and everyone goes, fuck Uncharted 4, don't care about that, give us, they promote their things properly. So when are you looking at Last of Us 2? 2017? 2018? Are people going to care that far away? Am I going to get a PS4 just because it's, possibly coming? Or will I just wait till it does come out and then retroactively buy the games that are coming out on the PS4? These are conundrums that have come out of E3 for me. I was firmly in the PS4 camp until this E3, and now I'm kind of, because a lot of my games are on the 360. So if I want to continue on my stories in Dragon Age, for example, from what I made from Dragon Age Origins through to Dragon Age 2, I want to carry it on that story. So if I get the Xbox One and the Xbox One version, am I going to see, is it going to continue on? If it is, then, lends me back that way. Plus Crackdown. Fucking Crackdown. That's the most excited I am about an exclusive. And that's bad, because I do like the Uncharted games. But I'm not that excited about it, because all I've seen is that shitty fucking full CGI trailer. But we'll see. So anyway, that's my thoughts on E3. I've got one more thing to talk about. One of the viewers asked me a question. They asked, first I think they asked if they could ask a question. The second thing, they asked a question. And they said, I've just finished my university studies and I'm thinking about having a break before I start work. Do you have any suggestions or advice? Now, I never went to university, so I can't give you specific instructions. But what I would say, from what I've lived, from the life that I've lived, whatever you really, really, really want to do, whatever you're super passionate about, give it a go now while you're with your parents and you've got money behind you, or you haven't got major outgoings. You'll not believe how hard it is to start a webcomic when you're fucking paying a mortgage. All right, I wish I would have started this when I was 18 and I left college. And I'd have knuckled down and I'd have really looked at how to do it and get the advice that I got when I was 30. Because it was kind of one of those early life crisis things. I got to 30 and I thought, I really want to do this. It's something I've wanted to do my entire life. Let's do it. But I waited and waited and waited, and then it was too late. So the one thing I would say is anything. I'm not saying it's a comic or a drawing or anything like that. I'm just saying whatever it is, anything that you are super passionate about, do it now, and then you will. You'll be able to you won't have the pressures of what comes later when you are in a job and all the other time constraints, because that's the other thing. It's a lot of time to do some of the stuff like this. So give it a go now and give it your best effort, because then you'll know if you can do it. Because I always thought that this was way beyond something to do, but I can do it now and I can easily run this now. Whether I can pay for it is another matter, because shit's expensive to keep a website going. But that's irrelevant. So that's my advice. Take it, don't take it, whatever. That's all the advice I can give you based on the question that you asked. If you've got any more, please send them in. This is about to end. So I am going to say goodbye, and I will see you next week on I Draw You Watch. Go and check out the website and enter the competition. Remember? It's at around 20 minutes. I can't, what was it? Left 4 Dead. Yeah, Left 4 Dead. Go and advertise my shit, and I'll give you a game. Okay, bye.